Welcome to NEXTGames video covering the new update to Final Fantasy XI introducing Mastery Levels. Now in this video we'll go through everything from acquiring your Master Breaker key item all the way to discussing what future potential this update holds in the world of Vana'diel, so let's get into it. First, in order to unlock the ability to gain these Master Levels, you already need to have mastered one of the jobs in the game, meaning you need those 3 stars above your head. Now when you're on one of those jobs that you have mastered, you want to head to the Nomad Moogle that is right next to Matt and speak with him, and he will give you a Master Breaker key item. Now this only needs to be done on a single job, and then all the other jobs that you have mastered can automatically earn a new type of experience called Exemplar Points. Now that you're in possession of this Master Breaker key item, you will earn Exemplar Points anytime you're on a mastered job that kills any enemy that is easy prey or more difficult. Now the amount of points that you will get will depend strictly upon the difficulty of the enemy you defeat. So an easy prey enemy is only usually going to give you a handful of Exemplar Points. Apex mobs will usually give you 250 to 300. And they've also introduced a new line of enemies in the game that you can get in the Promethean areas. Now once you enter one of the 4 Promethean zones, right there on the first floor you will see these new version of Apex mobs. Now another location you can find them is by going to the Azadal Undersea Ruins. Once in that zone, take one of the 4 portals, and then in the map that it zones you to, you will usually see the Apex mobs off on one of the wings that you can go fight. Now, when you're in the Promethean zones, as you can see, you're going to be fighting the Promethean type mobs, and when you're in the Undersea Ruins, you will be fighting Gears. Let's go ahead and take a minute now to talk about these new Apex mobs and where they may fit into your playtime. As you'll see in the upper right hand corner there, I'm fighting one of these new Apex mobs right now. They're level 142, and in order to successfully and reliably hit them, you need around 1600 accuracy, so around the same of Wave 3 of Dynamis. Now this is quite easy to achieve if you have other players that can buff you, but if you're in solo play, it's going to be quite difficult to achieve that. You're going to have to use food, your accuracy gear set, and then more than likely some trust to give you some accuracy as well, just to be able to reliably hit these things. So if you are a solo player, I definitely do not recommend taking on these new Apex mobs. Stick to Apex bats that you should be able to dispatch with much quicker, and it will still give you 250 to 300 exemplary points per kill. That's also strictly speaking of the ones that you can find in the Promethean zones. If you're solo and are trying to take on the gears that you will find in the Undersea Ruins, you're going to have even more of a challenge, as those gears will continually use a restoral ability that will give them back about 25% of their hit points, making it so that fights can literally last forever. However, if you are in a very solid group of players and wanting to get some Exemplar Points, taking on these 2 new groups of mobs is definitely possible. However, from what I'm reading, groups are still getting much more exemplary points by simply taking on lesser things like Apex bats and just being able to kill more of them in a given amount of time. Another thing that groups want to keep in mind when it comes to using these level 142 Apex mobs is it could be a tremendous tool in training new players in your group how to take on some of the more challenging content in the game. It can be quite taxing to just be thrown into Wave 3 Dynamis because there is such a high level of difficulty in Wave 3 compared to Wave 2. This is a way to introduce to people some of the challenges they're going to experience in regards to accuracy when they get to Wave 3 without putting them right in the middle of that moment. So keep that in mind for your new players and trying to get them ready to go when it comes to Dynamis Wave 3 and boss runs. Now let's go ahead and move on to talk about the mastery levels themselves. Now for each mastery level you get, you're going to get +1 to all of your 7 main attributes, so strength, dex, agility, etc. You will also get +1 to all of your main combat skills. So for instance, on Ninja, I get +1 when it comes to my katana, great katana, throwing skill, parrying skill, and ninjutsu skills. In addition to that, for each level you also get 7 hit points and 3 magic points. More so if you're on a pet job, the boosts are even more substantial, as in addition to you receiving all of those benefits, your pets will also receive an accuracy, attack, evasion, and defense boost of 1.5 for each level that you get. Now in addition to all of this, for every 5 levels of mastery that you achieve, you will boost your maximum sub-job level by 1. Now on their own, those boosts aren't that much, but when you add them up and what it looks to be what SE will be offering to us in the future in regards to future mastery levels, this is going to become a substantial way of how we make ourselves more powerful to take on the content they have planned for us in the future. So let's go ahead and talk about the cap right now, which is level 20 mastery level. So at that level 20 mastery cap, you will have plus 20 to all of those 7 main attributes, plus 20 to all of your main combat skills. You will have plus 140 hit points, an additional 60 magic points. Any of your pets will have an additional 30 accuracy, attack, evasion, and defense. And now in addition to that, your sub-job will be a maximum level of 53 on that job that you've gotten this level 20 mastery on. Now, as amazing as some of those boosts are, what it really shows is that SE is trying to boost us up for something hopefully involving the 20th anniversary that they're going to be releasing. Also going along with this idea is the fact that it looks to be that the actual cap for mastery levels is 100. So we have a suspicion that they'll be increasing this mastery level cap that is currently at 20 in increments all the way until level 100, at which point you'd be getting a 100 point boost to all of your main attributes, a 100 point boost to all of your main combat skills, an additional 700 hit points, 300 magic points, and that all of your pets additionally will have an additional 150 accuracy, attack, evasion, and defense. Lastly, the maximum sub-job level will now be level 69. Now this is obviously going to make players that are at that highest level of mastery tier extremely powerful, and is quite indicative of SE boosting us up for something in the future that I can't wait to see. Now of course the potential of unlocking the sub-job to level 69 is quite staggering, so let's just go ahead and deal with what's been unlocked at this point, which is up to level 53. Now at that level, your sub-job of warrior will get an additional double attack boost. Your monk will now be doing kick attacks. White Mage is one of the most improved jobs at this sub-job level, as you now have access to Curaga 3 and many additional spells. For Black Mage, you'll now get an additional level of magic attack boost. For Red Mage, you'll now have access to Thunder 2, which could be useful on some dual-wielding jobs. For Thief, you get an evasion and damage limit boost. On Paladin, a defense boost. On Dark Knight, an attack bonus. Now on Beastmaster, you will get access to Aquan Killer. On Bard, you're going to gain access to 3 additional songs of Dark Carol, Blade Madrigal, and Dragon Foe Mambo. On Ranger, you're going to get an accuracy bonus boost. On Summoner, you're going to gain access to the blood packs of Bitter Elegy for Siren and Double Slap for Shiva. You'll also be able to use the Elemental Siphon ability and unlock the next tier of max MP boost. People who sub the Samurai job will now get an additional level of Store TP boost and Zanishin boost. On Ninja, anyone who subs that will get a damage limit boost. One of the biggest sub-job changes is anyone who subs Dragoon will now get the ability to use Super Jump and drop all that hate, as well as avoid any ability that is about to go off. Blue Mage will allow you to use several new spells that you previously could not use, including Ice Break, Self-Destruct, Frightful Roar, Cold Wave, and Filamented Hold. Next, moving on to Corsair, which will now have the ability to use Random Deal as a sub-job, which could be quite game-changing. You'll also now have access to the Puppet Roll and the trait of Resist Amnesia 2. Now underneath Puppet Master, you don't really get much. You get the Resist Slow 2 and Martial Arts 2 traits. Now for Dancer, you're now going to have access to the abilities of Building Flourish and Contra Dance. Now Scholar is one of the most changed sub-jobs that you get, as you will now have access to the Clear Mind 3 trait. The number of charges that you will get over time is also going to go up. Additionally, you'll have access to Stona, Protect 3, Ice Spikes, and Thunder 2. In regard to Geomancer, you're now going to have the access to the Life Cycle ability, Blizzard 2, Geo Acumen, Thundara, Indie Torpor, Geo Strength, and Geo Slow, so a lot of new spells for Geomancer. And our last job, Runefancer, who's actually going to get a magic defense bonus boost, and also their first accuracy bonus trait. Additionally, they'll get access to Shell 3 and the ability Valiance. Also, rules that were previously true, such as style change abilities not transferring over, still remain true. So things like Composure will remain unusable even though they are unlocked at level 50. Make sure you keep this in mind. Lastly, I want to bring up that if you end up dying, similar to losing experience points when you die, you are now going to lose Exemplar points. If you lose enough exemplar points, you will actually de-level to the previous level, so make sure that you're getting raised as frequently as possible. That will of course limit the amount of exemplary points you lose from that death. And that's going to be it for the video on the introduction to the master levels. I hope you found that helpful. I'm definitely excited for what the future holds in the world of Vana'diel, and what it's going to mean as they further unravel changes to this new system and we approach the 20th anniversary. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.